Hello and welcome to the Acting Coach Network podcast. I'm your host, Savannah Madden, acting coach, award-winning theatre school owner and business mentor for performing arts professionals who want more time, more income and zero burnout. Today's guest is someone who's taken her background on stage and turned it into something truly transformative for young creatives. Leanne Johnson is the founder of the Drama Centre, born out of her own experience as a professional actor and teacher across Essex and London. In 2017, she launched the Drama Centre based on a simple but powerful idea: drama training rooted in respect, kindness, joy, and creative confidence. Since then, Leanne has grown the centre from a single Saturday class to over 500 students across 6 days a week, opening up drama to young people who might feel anxious about school or socialising and helping them flourish in a safe, emotionally intelligent community. What stands out about Leanne is her fierce belief in the power of drama to build connection, nurture soft skills, and bring joy, creating life-changing opportunities for her students through inclusive, heartfelt performance practice. And now she's taking that vision even further, opening up opportunities for others to run their own drama centre through a franchise model designed to support passionate practitioners in building their own businesses with guidance, structure, and heart. Leanne Johnson, welcome to the Acting Coach Network podcast.
Thank you so much. What an amazing introduction. I feel so proud of myself.
Good. I'm so pleased. I mean, it sometimes takes for someone else to kind of give us a pat on the back, doesn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Maybe it's us women as well. Well, I meant every word of it. It's incredible what you have been building for the last sort of 8 years. So massive congratulations to where you've got to so far. But I'm so delighted to have you here. So let's start by setting the scene. Can you tell us a bit about your business and how your journey in the theatre world led you to becoming the principal of the Drama Centre?
I can. So I went to university, studied drama and film, and then realised that wasn't going to get me anywhere near being an actor. And then went to drama school, did a postgraduate, came out the other side of that and thought, okay, now I need to make some money. What do I do? And I'm sure this is a very similar story to lots of people that listen to your podcast, that you need to find a survival job when you're doing acting. And at that time, I think it was Casting Call Pro, which I don't think exists anymore.
Yeah, it's called Mandy Actors now.
Yeah, there we go. I saw an advert saying they're looking for a performing arts teacher. And this is someone who had no experience with kids or teaching, but I felt that I was a really strong actor and I loved teaching. So I would have a go and interviewed. And then that was the start of my performing arts journey. And then just watched how other performing arts businesses, how they ran their business essentially. And then it got to the point where it was 2015, sort of end of 2015, I was pregnant with my son and I thought, okay, what does my maternity leave look like? Do I even get a maternity leave? And the answer was no, I didn't, because I didn't work for myself and I got 6 weeks off. I had him at the end of June. I had 6 weeks over the summer and I was back at work 1st of September pretty much. And I remember thinking how difficult that was. It was really gut-wrenching having your first baby, and he was early as well. He was like 4 weeks early. So I had to message someone saying, I'm so sorry, I can't come into my shift because I'm in labour. And and I remember thinking, I don't want this to be my life. I love teaching, but I do not want to, I didn't have any freedom over when I could work and how much money I earn and where I worked. And so I was having to leave this tiny baby with my partner, James, and I'd go to work for a couple of hours and come back and it just wasn't what I wanted my life to be. And so when he was about 9 months old, I said to my partner, I think I'm going to start my own performing arts school, but it was specifically for acting, because I saw students and I observed them, and especially when they start to get to year 6 and then go into secondary school, they know what they don't want to do. And you could see that in the performing arts schools I was teaching, because they were all triple threat schools. So I thought, I love acting. I'm an all right singer. I'm an all right dancer, but that's not my passion. And so I wanted to create space that was purely acting. And the public speaking sort of came about by accident, actually. We focus on acting and public speaking solely at the drama centre. But I had a couple of parents saying, do you teach public speaking? And at that point I said, yeah, sure, sure I do. And then I just learned as I went and realised, actually, not only was I really passionate about public speaking as much as drama, but there's a huge call for it where I am in Chelmsford, Essex and London. And so I birthed the drama centre, and I had the idea in May, and then I'd launched our first class in the September of that year.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
What an inspiring story. I've got a small child and I can completely relate to how gut-wrenching it is having to leave them. I imagine there are so many, not even just theatre school owners, but so many women that will relate to that because, our maternity packages are not fit for purpose, really. I just think that being able to start a business whilst you're in that postpartum phase, the first 2 years particularly is pretty savage on the old hormones and everything else, isn't it? I love that you have decided to focus purely on acting and public speaking for the reasons that you said. So what were those early days like, starting a business whilst having a small baby? What was it really like?
It's really hard, I'm not going to lie. It was having my uncle doing free leaflets for me because I had no budget for anything. It was
Good old
asking
uncle.
for favours.
Get in there.
I know.
Yeah.
So printing, I don't know, 1,000 leaflets and finding a venue that would give us mates rates. So because it was all out of my own pocket, because I have no savings. I didn't have rich parents to give me any money. I was doing it from the money I was earning teaching and whatever acting jobs were still coming in, and I was still sort of straddling the acting and the running the business. I think I was still filming up until I was like 6 months pregnant, some like commercial stuff. And I remember walking around the area around the theatre that we hired for our first space, delivering leaflets with my son in the buggy when I was doing it. I remember being so optimistic, honestly. I think that was the thing that kept me going, because
I love that.
if I'd been so pragmatic, do you know what I mean? If I listened to my parents-in-law, I wouldn't have done it. I thought I had such self-belief and I knew that there was a call for this. There was nowhere around that just did drama and public speaking. And I was very much of the ethos that I would welcome whoever wanted. There was no audition process to get in. It was about people that loved drama and wanted, for whatever reason, whether it's building confidence, making friends, getting better at the art of acting, that everyone would be welcome. And so that was really hard graft. I did quite a big run up, and not having any experience with marketing or social media, organic reach, all of these things that I've learned in the 8-9 years. I didn't have a business plan or a sales strategy in place. I just thought, how can I get our name, which at the time was called the Chelmsford Drama Centre, how could I get it in front of as many people as possible? So yeah, that was like old school, going around leaflets, asking places to take our leaflets and posters. It was jumping into groups on Facebook when they were a bit better at letting you sort of market your stuff. And on that first week in September, I think we had about 35 kids turn up to
Brilliant.
Yeah, which now, I mean, I'd love it if I started a new class now and had 35 straight away. I'd be absolutely buzzing. And
It's a really good number.
It was a really good number. I was really proud. I did it for free, so again, I lost money, but then the uptick of that was so many people signed up after that. And that was the start. And that was the start of getting the ball rolling and people bringing their friends. And yeah, that one Saturday class of 30, it seems like such a long time ago.
I bet.
Yeah.
But it's having that unshakable belief that that you believe in yourself and that you know it can succeed. I think that's something that a lot of people lack because they lack the confidence to start their own business, and they maybe listen to too much of the outside noise, or their imagination runs wild. They catastrophize what could happen, but nothing actually has happened. The fact that you just kept going and the results spoke for themselves because you put in the graft beforehand to get the bums on seats, if you like. So that's how it all started, and it obviously grew from there because, as I said in my intro, you're now sitting at sort of 500 students across 6 days a week, which is outstanding. We're going to talk a little bit more today about growth and, you know, where the business is at now. So what was the turning point for you when you knew that it could be something bigger?
I felt I'd hit a ceiling for the capacity for me. I was trying to do all the things, and I was trying to teach and run the business and organize everything. And it got to the point where I think it was my partner James that said, you need to start delegating stuff. You need to start asking other people. And I definitely think as business owners, we find that hard because this is our baby and we look after our baby, and our baby is so important to us. But actually, it's getting that team in place that you can trust and know that they have the best interests of the business at heart as well as you. And so I found after I at the moment, I think we've got a team of about 9 of us, and I have an assistant, but it took me a long time to actually ask for help. But it got to the point where I was dropping stuff, things were getting missed. And I said, I can't do this because I've worked so hard for the reputation of the business. I need to ask someone. So Heather is my amazing assistant that I brought in, and straight away that started to divvy up all of the admin so I could start thinking about the bigger picture of the business. And it was I think it was 2 years ago. I was on a course. I don't know if you know Leanne Johnson. I did her one-to-many course, and I got to go to the Shard for lunch with all the other people that were in my course. And yeah, it was amazing. And we're sitting up top of the Shard.
Kind of lunch.
And I know, it was so dreamy. I couldn't believe it. I was looking out the view going, this is amazing. Like if I'd thought this like 6 years ago, and all these amazing women in business, and I said, I don't know how to grow the business because I've sort of locked myself in with calling it the Chelmsford Drama Centre. I thought it would be weird if it was called something else, or it was called the Chelmsford Drama Centre and it was in Bristol and it was in Edinburgh. And then someone turned to me and said, just change the name. And I said, oh, okay, really?
That's a good idea.
Yeah, exactly. And I said, I don't know what I'd call it to. He said, well, can't you call it the Drama Centre? I said, oh no, well, there was this massive drama school called Drama Centre London. And that was a big thing. And they said, yeah, but that doesn't exist anymore. And I said, okay. So that night I went on to Company's House and I searched the name and it wasn't taken. So I registered for that and then I got it trademarked literally in the next 24 hours. And then some said, right, now you're called the Drama Centre, you should franchise. You're just repeating, you're giving them all of these systems and tools that you built up over the last 8 years. And you deserve to be able to step back and grow the business far beyond what you saw at the beginning, which was just a small, tiny couple of days a week drama classes for people. But now it's this huge, big thing. And so I went on my journey learning how to franchise. But yeah, it was that point. It was when I started to drop things, and I should have asked for help earlier, but I didn't. And I bet you hear that so much that
definitely
you need it.
I completely resonate with asking for help being a very difficult thing to do. But yeah, there are so many people that think that their business won't run without their input. But if you're this person in the business that knows how everything works and there isn't anybody else, that's the most risky business to have, isn't it? Because
that's it.
If you fall over and break your leg or something even worse happens and you're out of action and not able to support your school, then you're in a real world of trouble. So I was definitely starting to miss a few things, but it was more that I was just working such long hours. And it was just like, how on earth am I supposed to sustain this? Which I think is partly where you were coming from as well. You know, just how can you do all the marketing, all the jobs, all the hats, and have a bit of a social life and a family life as well.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, not just all about work, is it?
No, exactly.
Yeah, so that's really great advice. Well, I would just say to anybody who is in that sort of what I call the messy middle, that there is no good time. There's never enough money in the budget either. So you just got to go for it. And what I was saying to somebody the other day, particularly about money, is if you feel like you don't have any money for that sort of thing, you've just got to go for it. Get the right person on board, and it will all just fall into place. You'll start getting more clients because the experience of the customer journey is better. So more people recommend you. It all just kind of starts to fall into place once you get more people's brains and eyes on your business. So everything started to grow from there. And we've also talked about how you only offer acting and public speaking, and you said how you didn't want to be a triple threat kind of school. So it's really clear what your USP is and everything. But can you tell us a bit more about what it stands for, and like what sort of young people do you attract to the drama centre? What are they drawn to?
I would say we have a huge amount of students that are neurodivergent and also that are trying to find out who they are. So we have lots of young people that are transitioning, and we have lots of neurodivergent students that have maybe gone to other drama schools and been told that it's not the right fit for them. And I'm very much about doing things at their own pace. There was an experience a few years ago I had before I started the business. They were doing a show. It wasn't a company that I usually worked for. I was just filling in for someone that was unwell. And I saw one of the teachers physically grab a student and pull them off the stage because they weren't doing what they were supposed to. And I remember thinking at that moment, if I ran a drama school, I would never, ever make a child feel like that, because kids have so much pressure, and we need to build resilience through kindness. We don't need to build their resilience by being nasty. Let's build up their confidence and their self-esteem so then they can go out and take on the world and deal with all the horrible things that are out there. But that's not our job to expose them to the horrible things. It was quite a shocking moment for me, and it was like a light bulb thinking that would never happen, and would never happen at the drama centre. And I remember a couple of years ago, we had the really lovely, very shy student called Lewis, and he's fine for me to talk about him because we've spoken a lot. And his mum brought him to the drama centre, and she said, Lewis is autistic, and these are some of the behaviours that he will show when he's feeling overwhelmed and stressed. And he's been to another couple of drama schools locally, and they just said it wasn't a good fit for him. So we taught Lewis for 5 years. We didn't see any of the behaviours because I myself have ADHD. My son's autistic and has ADHD. I'm surrounded by amazing neurodivergent people, and I think I'm a really good observer of people's behaviour, and we want to stop people becoming overwhelmed before they get there. You know, it's much easier to calm someone down before they're very, very anxious and need to self-soothe, essentially. So we taught Lewis for 5 years, and he got into the National Youth Theatre. He became a member of Mensa, and then I think it was a year and a half ago, his mum sent me a message and said, I can't believe I'm telling you this. And she sent a picture of him. He was one of the 3 new cast members in EastEnders. He was like one of the Mitchells. And so Lewis has gone from being, so Lewis Bridgman, he's gone from being really shy, anxious, not really knowing how talented he was, to he's like in one of the biggest soaps in the UK now. He's so famous, and when people see him and I see, it's so funny. People's like, Lewis, please can I have a selfie? It's amazing. And it's about that. It's about taking that time to nurture the kids that need the nurturing, because you see a lot of the time at stage schools that the onus is put on the kids that are already really good at drama, already really good at acting. They get all the main roles. They get put at the front of the stage. But it shouldn't be that. It's not that for me. It's about every single person has their time to shine and feel good about themselves. and improve their skills and their confidence and feel like they belong somewhere, because it's hard, isn't it? In this world of
Really is.
noise and technology, it's hard to find somewhere you belong, and just talking to people. I like to call them Me Too moments, when we ask the register, we always ask a question. And in terms of their development, it's finding someone that has similar likes and interests to you. So then when someone says across the way, I love, Wednesday, then another person go, oh my God, I love that too. And that just might spark a friendship with them, which I think is so
Exactly.
important. So I think that's our own, it's at their own pace. And sometimes there's pushback with parents that want to get their exams done very quickly. I'm very, very quick to say, in my professional opinion, as a professional actor and having run the drama centre for nearly 10 years, it's in my best interest to make sure that they get the best, most positive experience. It's not all about the grades that they achieve. There is a little bit of pressure in terms of that, and I want them to get the best thing that they can possibly achieve in terms of grades. But it takes time, and it takes us being their cheerleaders, saying they'll get there, but they need a bit longer.
Absolutely. I can completely agree with that one. We experience exactly the same thing. And we all know we're both parents, we all want what's best for our children, and we want them to do as well as they possibly can. My ethos at my theatre school is that children do their exams once a year. We put students in for LAMDA exams, which I believe you do as well, Leanne. They take the academic year to prepare because they don't need any other stress than they already have got from school and all the other clubs that they do, because in my experience, my theatre school students mainly do every single club under the sun.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And do you find, it's our job to foster really good relationships with our parents that are, paying for their lovely children to come and experience our brilliant classes? But have you noticed anything has changed in the last couple of years in terms of parental expectations?
I think so. I think there's been a change across a lot of businesses, especially online businesses as well, that people expect more. So they expect more value, which we are more than happy to provide. But also, what I think with bringing in of AI and technology, I think some people genuinely, when they send an email, they don't realize that there is a human person, which is me or my assistant, receiving that reply. So it's about treating people how you want to be treated, with respect and patience and kindness. And I think once they realize that it actually is a person, I haven't got an AI, I don't have a chat box, I don't have any of that. I want to talk to the parents myself. I think what's really important, sometimes if you get an email, it can be misconstrued, or a message can be misconstrued, the tone can be completely taken out of context. I think just picking up the phone sometimes, which I know, especially like a lot of young people don't like to pick up a phone. They're like, why? Who's phoning me? This is outrageous. Invasion of my privacy. But sometimes if you actually just phone someone, phone a parent, and they can hear the tone of your voice and they just know that your intentions are good, I think that makes a huge amount of difference in terms of fostering relationships with parents, especially performing arts schools. And the fact that you've taken time out of your day to phone them, to explain things and make sure that they're okay, is a huge thing, and something that we've been doing like all along. But especially in the last couple of years, I'm making more of an effort I'm picking up the phone. I'm not going to reply to that email. I'm going to pick up and chat to you.
Lovely. I think that's a great bit of advice for other theatre school owners. I've actually got 2 calls scheduled this week with 2 new prospective parents, because they said, I would just love to speak to you about it. I want to tell you some things about my child. And I said, great. I said, just the best thing to do is for us to schedule when that call is going to be. And I haven't spoken to a parent on the phone for a little while, so I'm excited about it. But I think to combat any emails that have been misconstrued, I think a phone call is a really, really great way to go about it. And then in terms of like how the market has changed, have you noticed any shifts since you started in 2017 in terms of what parents might be looking for in classes or anything like that?
I think so. I think, especially with the economic climate at the moment, parents are looking for tangible proof of achievement a lot of the time. And like you mentioned, LAMDA exams, that's a really great way. More often than not, we're getting more LAMDA students than we are just drama students who work towards a performance, because they want that certificate because it's very competitive. We serve lots of families that have education at the heart of some. They want their kids to do well. They want them to have good prospects when they go on to further education. And having a Lambda qualification, or Trinity, we teach Trinity as well, is really important. I love Lambda, and we do very similar things in Lambda and drum. We're still building the same skill, but I feel that that is something that has shifted, whereas we'd get quite a lot of people saying, oh, they just want to have fun. But now, because money's tight, they're making decisions. People would always say, oh, it will be the kids clubs that go last. So when there's like an economic downturn, they will sacrifice everything for themselves, and then the last thing to go will be the kids clubs. Over this last couple of terms, I've had some parents saying, it's a bit tough, money's a bit tight at the moment, Leanne, can we pause our subscription with you? And I'll try and do everything I can to help them, because I still want the kids to attend the classes, but obviously we have to be mindful that we are running a business as well. So you need to straddle that line really carefully. I think that's something that I've seen shift and change, because it's hard. Things are expensive, and
it's hard out there.
yeah, and costs just go up and up. I've had schools that have never charged. So we do in school club. I've never had schools charge to use their space until probably the last 12, 18 months. The schools are struggling. Really? So now they're saying, we're going to take 5%. Yeah, exactly. And that's absolutely fine.
Strands.
Yeah. Because if we're using their electricity and whatever it is, that's absolutely fine. But then we have to increase our prices so that we're not losing money. And that's something that I've seen. I've had one school we were working with them for 9 years, massive amount of pupil premium funding. So if they're from low income families, they'll get funding. And they said this term that they have had their budget slashed by the government, and so that impacted their school's ability. And this is a state school, massive state school, 600 kids in this junior school, really needed public speaking skills, and they said, we just don't have the budget for it. So that's where the market has changed, and schools are struggling.
They're struggling in so many ways, but money, unfortunately, is one of the biggest drivers, isn't it? And unfortunately, there are just more and more cuts that we keep hearing about, and some that we don't hear about as well. So it's quite difficult to kind of keep across all of it, as it is quite an ever-changing landscape. But those points are just so interesting. I want to move back towards talking about how you franchised your business, and we can talk more about how you've been navigating your business now that you're a franchisor. So you said that you kind of like hit a bit of a ceiling of where you weren't really able to offer, much more, because there aren't any more hours in an afternoon or a weekend, and there aren't any more days in the week. So have you faced any challenges since becoming a franchisor and, setting yourself up to recruit franchisees?
Yeah, it's a really long learning curve becoming a franchisor. And I invested a lot of money to make sure that I was a certified franchisor. So I did a Scale Franchise Business School, and I've worked with franchise experts. Stacey Can is someone that I've worked with in the past, and Chrissy Monaghan, I know that you know Chrissy. She's like a great source of inspiration and guidance in terms of being an expert in franchising. It's a lot of money to put down. When you want to franchise your business and you want to grow it, you are talking thousands and thousands of pounds to know what you're doing, to get all the legal stuff in play, like franchisee contracts, and creating this operations manual, which is the Bible of your business, and you must keep it secret so no one else can steal your secrets. But it's
know that.
It's a massive. So your operations manual is this. Yeah, it's your Bible. Everything you do, everything you could possibly think of in your business, you're going to put it in your operations manual. It's sort of like a how-to guide. If an alien landed on Earth and wanted to know how to run a drama centre, I'd give them my operations manual and say, here you go.
Sounds fabulous.
It does sound fabulous, but it's always a changing document. I always am adding things constantly. And finding franchisees is a long process, because sometimes you might be having conversations back and forth 6, 12, 18 months before they decide, actually, I'm going to invest, because they need, it's a lot of their time, it's a lot of money, and it's a lot of their effort. They're putting their trust in you to lead them to success. And so it's a long process. We have our first franchisee is amazing. She's already making profit, which again is something that I'm so proud of, that she's been able to make profit really quickly. I've got conversations with another prospective 5 franchisees over the summer, and you see an uptick when it gets to summer holidays, and lots of them are teachers. in schools and they say, I'm done, I need
This is it, I'm
adventure.
out.
Yeah. And because there's only those couple of times that you can resign, isn't there, being a teacher? So it's quite a lot of pressure on them. It is challenging. It's challenging finding the right fit as well, because you might have someone saying, I want to join the drama centre. Fantastic. You give them the prospectus and then you have a discovery call. But that discovery call is not just you telling them about your amazing business. It's you finding out if they're the right fit for you, because as we were saying earlier, this is your baby. You're handing out bits of this amazing business you've created to people and trusting them with it. So that's tricky, finding just the right combination of personality and energy. And do I believe that this person is going to like have a proper go of it, because I'm giving you this territory essentially, and I want to know that you're going for it. I want to know that you're all in. So it's hard being a franchisor, but you have to just stay consistent and stay visible and keep just having conversations with people and just keep having connections. Some of my best leads from franchisees coming in are just people that I'm friends with on Facebook, and they see all the things that I'm doing, and then I'll get a message saying, can you send me your prospectus, I'm really interested. Just comes out of the blue, out of nowhere. And you think it's interesting when people are watching and you don't realize they're watching. People are always watching what you're doing.
I love that. People are always watching. So you just touched on it a little bit there, but I would like to delve a little bit deeper in what kind of person do you think makes a great franchisee, in your opinion, and how do you support your new franchisees in their first year when they join you?
I want someone that's passionate, someone that loves working with kids, obviously. You don't necessarily have to have a degree in performing arts or anything like that, but just you want to be able to inspire young people to be confident and have a love of the performing arts. That's what people need. People need to know that the work is going to be hard, but the payoff is you get to choose when you work, and you get to take your business. You know, if you want to go on a holiday, but you still want to keep up with everything, just you do that. You go on holiday. I take my laptop. I can be so flexible with that. I think someone that wants to work as part of a team, because the joy of having people come on as franchisees is that I've done all the work. I've done all the documents. All of everything is done. The operations manual is done. I've put training in place. So it's all done for them. So it's not like me going back to 2017 where I started my own business and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm winging it. I actually do know what I'm doing, and I can gift them this lovely business in a box, and anything that they ask, I should have an answer for. I was talking to my franchisee the other day, and she said, I've got this plan of this is how I'm going to launch my new classes in September. And then I can say, that's a good idea. Or in my experience, I've tried that and that actually didn't work for me. If you want to have a go, that's fine. But I'll give you the wealth of my experience over these last, nearly 10 years. And the support structure is really important in terms of having a franchisee. They're paying for their territory. So I want to give them as much support. So it will be weekly calls. Once they start to fly a bit, then it'll be monthly calls. We are setting them up for training. We're training them how to teach Lambda, for example. We're teaching them how to run a class, all the safeguarding. It's this whole massive package of documents. They have all the templates they need for social media. We set up all their social media channels for them. We set their emails up. We set their mailing list up. All the things you can think of that you had to do yourself when you started your business, we do it. That's what we do for our franchisees. So then they can start making profit really quickly. And it's just a constant, it's ongoing training and support that will never end for the entire time of the franchisees there.
Yeah, and obviously I don't know what it's like with other franchises, but that just sounds like pure mentorship to me. It sounds like you have a really close relationship, and obviously your recruitment process is really thorough, and you're scoping out whether that franchisee is the right fit for you, even though your franchisees might already have a lot of experience teaching. They might be teaching in a school, or they could be teaching for other franchises or other independent businesses, but now they want to go on their own. So what advice would you give to someone who wants to scale but isn't sure whether franchising is the right route?
I would say maybe try and get a call with like a franchising expert. And a lot of the time they're really high in ethics, and they will be able to tell you whether they think that a franchise model is right for you or not. I've had lots of people in the children's activity space. I'm in lots of different memberships online and in person. And some of them have said, it's just not for me. Franchising's not for me. I would rather have the whole business and then state principles in different areas. So that's what they can do. Or they can sometimes do like what's called licensing, which is a different model to franchising. But you need to feel aligned to it. You need to feel that it's the right thing to do for you, because it's not a quick fix money making thing. Franchising, it's a long time before I will start to see any profit or any benefit from my franchisees. It's like a huge work in process. If you want a quick money injection, I would say franchising is probably not for you, for your business. If you want to have a 10-year plan and then decide I want to retire early, maybe franchising might be the thing for you, because then you've grown this huge, big, amazing, epic business that can make you money with you taking that step back and just being in head office. So that's what I would say to people that have a business already and are looking at franchising. Seek advice. And we've spoken about Stacey Can and Chrissy. I would go online and seek them out and ask their advice, because these are people with 10, 20 years experience helping businesses franchise.
Excellent. And what if there is the teacher that wants to leave their school teaching job, or the theatre school teacher who's teaching for all the other companies, whether they're franchises or independent businesses, and thinks, I really want to do this myself? What would you say to that person that isn't happy with their current teaching schedule?
Become in control of your time and your resources. And that could either be by joining a company and buying into a franchise, because you have all the support structure set up and you've got this team of people and other franchisees that can help you on your journey. So that's one thing if you're interested in looking at becoming a franchisee. Or I would just start from scratch, start your own business. You have the confidence by now if you've been teaching for other drama schools. And we don't ever want to steal people's ideas, but we're always looking at being inspired by how things are run and maybe how you want to do things differently, or what worked at the drama schools that you're working at and what maybe didn't, and start putting into place a plan of, if you want to launch your own drama school, what is your unique selling point? Don't worry about the branding at the moment and the fancy website. Just start getting things done, because messy action is better than no action.
Absolutely.
I look back when we first started the Drama Centre, I printed our logo off. I think I got someone on Fiverr to do a logo for us. And then I printed it onto transferable paper and then ironed our logo onto our t-shirts. And that was the first
I
thing.
love that.
Because I thought, I've got to just do it. And I think that people just want everything to be perfect. And surprise, surprise, it's not going to be perfect, because you're just starting out. And as you start to learn more about the business, then you can start perfecting things. Then you can start looking back and getting a graphic designer to do your logo. But our logo was rubbish for the first few months. And then
So was mine.
yeah, and it's just things like
It's
that. I
awful.
think I'd love to see it.
I'll send it to you later.
But it's just that, isn't it? It's just people putting barriers in the way, people making excuses for progression and growth. And there's loads of things. There's loads of mindset blocks that people need to push through. Done is better than perfect.
Oh, I love that phrase.
Yeah, done is better than perfect. If you're passionate, honestly, and it sounds like such a cliche, but if you're passionate about the thing that you do, it's so infectious, and other people will want to join you on that journey, and
Definitely.
you will draw people that have the same energy and that want the same things. So
And
yeah,
no one cares what a logo looks like, do
one
they?
cares. No one
one
cares.
cares.
Absolutely.
So you talked earlier about, the phrase was, people are always watching. So what have been your most effective strategies for growing overall visibility of your brand? What's worked for you?
Video content and reels, honestly, 100%. I see people all the time in other businesses And I don't want to give them unsolicited advice because that's never helpful. But when I started to, especially on our Instagram and our TikTok, once we started moving over to Reels and giving people value, for nothing. I do a lot of drama games and exercises for other teachers and other acting coaches. They're all free. They're either things that I've picked up along my career or stuff that we've come up with ourselves. We share them on Instagram. That took me from really struggling to get to 2,000 followers to, I think we're nearly at 25,000. We probably will be by the end of this week. And it's not just a vanity metric. Yeah, there's 25,000. That's fantastic. And I think we're about 6,000 on TikTok. My aim is to get to 10,000 by the end of the year, which I think I can
saw
do.
you posted about that the other day, and I was
think
like,
I'll get
get
there.
in there.
But it's about giving people value, getting people to know, like, and trust you, because you're much more likely to invest in something with someone's name that comes to the front of your mind. It's about giving them value, but also saying, if you want these prompts, if you want our park bench script, then message us or comment on the reel. And then that's a really good way of getting people into your sales funnel. It's getting them into your inbox. And I cannot stress this enough for people that are just starting out. The best way to sell is getting people into your inbox, getting people on your mailing list. So then you can actively try and sell and just build connections in their email, because the algorithm for social media is all over the place. No one knows what's going
It's
on.
changing all the time,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yes. So if you don't have a mailing list, I would so strongly advise you get a mailing list. MailerLite, something which I think people use, MailChimp. Just get people on your mailing list. And if it says Leanne from the Drama Centre, and that's happening once a week over 5, 6, 7 weeks, their subconscious is going to be like, oh yeah, who do I know that runs a drama school? Oh yeah, Leanne, she runs a drama school. Let me just go and check those. And even if they're not opening the emails all the time, you're pinging into their inbox once a week, and that makes a huge amount of difference. There's so much noise on social media. That's a big piece of advice that I would give to people.
That's it, because we go to our different channels for different things, don't we? We might not go to Instagram to learn something in particular, but we might go there to download a free resource and then go into your email funnel. But we might be sat down at our laptops or computers, iPads or whatever, and we might be like, oh yeah, I've got 5 minutes before I start work. I'll just read that email with my cup of tea. Whereas if you were on Instagram, you might not be there to sit down and focus on it, because we absorb content in different ways depending on what platform we're on. So what kind of stuff are you divvying out in your weekly emails, Leanne, to your mailing list?
I have 2 separate ones. I have one that's what's success stories and what's going on in the drama centre, and that will go out usually at the beginning of a week. And then I will have just like about me, which is usually on a Friday. And it's nothing to do with me selling to people. It's just people getting to know me. And in terms of like a visibility strategy, that's like your secondary messaging and your tertiary messaging. So your primary messaging, what is my primary messaging? The Drama Centre, we specialise in like public speaking and acting training excellence, include everyone. Anyone can join. It doesn't matter where you're from, what skill level, what additional needs you have. But my secondary messaging is my family and what I stand for, and that I love gardening, and that I have a dog called Olive who is
Great name.
and yeah, those things are just as important, because it gets to know you as a full-rounded person. I'm not constantly wanting to sell to customers or prospective clients in their inbox, because that's exhausting. But it's if they know that I have a border terrier called Olive, that when they go out for their walk, they might see a border terrier and go, oh, who else has got one? Oh, Leanne. And then it just another Leanne. She runs
Another
the drama.
link.
That's it. That's it. So that's what I do. And yeah, one's more, this is what we've been doing if you want to have a trial. And then the other one is, this is what I've happened this week. I saw some kingfishers. That's been a thing that I'm obsessed with, kingfishers. And people message me and say, well, I was thinking about the kingfisher story that you did on Instagram and TikTok the other day.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's just so great, isn't it? It's lovely. It's a great way to connect with people from all sorts of walks of life as well, because I think that's what's really exciting about our industry, is that you just get so exposed to so many different people from different walks of life. So what's been one of the most unexpected lessons of running this business that you've had, do you think?
Put boundaries in place early. I didn't. And what I did is I gave my personal number out to all the parents.
We've all been there.
We've
Don't
all
worry,
been
we've
there.
all done it.
Because that's the only phone I had. So I put my personal number
Exactly.
out. and
Oh, I
I
feel
would
so seen.
that's it. I hear it all the time. And what I did, I would reply to messages at 11 o'clock at night. I would reply to emails in the weekend. And it's only over the last year or two. And I separated the phone numbers out, got a business phone, and then said, please, this is the only number you contact. So I made the decision at 5 o'clock on a Friday, I shut all my emails down. I actually removed my email from my phone. So I don't look at them because I have our office hours of Monday to Friday. And for me, that's really important because if an email pops up, I cannot help but look at it when I'm on my phone, when I'm watching a movie, and then I see something, and then it either makes me excited, I've got to do something, I've got to action this, or it makes me feel sad, or it makes me feel like overjoyed at something. But actually, you need a break from your business because you might live and breathe your business, and that's absolutely so important to have that passion. But also you need to protect your sanity and stop yourself from burning out. So those boundaries in place, the emails go back on 9 a.m. on the Monday. If I have a team teaching over the weekend, which is usually the case, they'll have access to the business phone, or so parents can, if in an emergency,
Of course.
parents can
Yeah.
contact them. But it's so important to put strong boundaries in place. And if you can, if you're just starting out, please get a second number. Get a second number for your business.
I couldn't recommend it enough. Yeah. I love that though, that you take everything off your own phone as well, because as much as we can have two phones, I don't know about you, but my personal phone has all my business apps on it as well. I just use my business phone for WhatsApp. That's also a really, really good tip. I think a lot of people could take that one on and really benefit from it. So before we wrap up, I have one final question that I ask every guest. So if you could give, you have given lots of great advice, but if you could give one piece of advice to a fellow creative who's feeling stuck or unsure right now, what would it be?
You can do this technique. I think it's called 7 levels deep. You can, if you Google this.
I've done this. I love it. Yeah.
And you go back and you speak about why you're doing it. Your why, and you'll hear this a lot in business circles. Why? Well, I'm running the drama centre so I can inspire lots of children. Okay, why do you want to inspire lots of children? So that we can create a generation of really competent, confident and self-assured people that are going to change the world. Okay, why do you want to change the world? Because I want my kids to have a good life. Why do you want your kids? And it's all about that. It's about going through all of the depth levels to understand your really true deep why you are doing this. Because some people say, well, I want to do it because of the money and I want to do it because of the freedom. But why do you want the freedom? Do you want to go on holiday? Do you want to give your kids experiences? Do you want them to learn about the world? Do you want them to have empathy for other people? That's something that really helps when you're feeling stuck. Go back to the drawing board, find out why you wanted to do this in the first place, reignite that passion for it, because it is hard and it's very easy to get lost, isn't it? When all the things are going on, you're in the thick of your business, you're trying to spin all the plates, but actually sometimes you just need to strip all those things away and go back, focus on why you're doing this, because more often than not, once you try and reignite that passion for why you are truly doing this, then other things start to become clearer in your business and you start to have more direction about where you want your business to go.
That's absolutely amazing advice. And from personal experience of doing it, it can be quite an emotional thing to do because you really delve very deeply into what it is that is actually driving you if you are completely honest with yourself, and you just kind of cut all of the surface level stuff and you really get to the deeper work. I've been guided through it with a coach before. That is an amazing piece of advice. Oh, Leanne, this has been so amazing. You have been incredibly generous with your time and your advice and your tips. Thank you so much. Where can people find out more about your work and if they would like to connect with you?
I'm always hanging out on Instagram, which is at the Drama Centre. I am in my emails, which is info@thedramacentre.co.uk. I'm always hanging out on social media. You can come and find me, Leanne Johnson, on Facebook. where I have lots of tips and advice. If you are in the performing arts industry and you want guidance and help with, what to put in your classes, maybe becoming a franchisee, all of that, you can find me at Instagram, and I'll pop a little link as well for you, Savannah, if that's okay, so people can find
Absolutely,
me.
we'll pop it in the show notes. And can they download your franchise prospect from your website?
Yes, if you go on to www.thedramacentre.co.uk, and then at the top it will say franchising.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Leanne Johnson.
Very welcome.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Acting Coach Network podcast. If you loved what you heard, make sure you're following. And if you've got a moment, I would absolutely love it if you could leave a quick review or share this episode with someone else in the industry who might just need it. You can find me on Instagram at the Acting Coach Network. And if you're looking for support to grow your coaching business or creative career without burning out, check out the latest resources over on my Instagram. I'll be back soon with more real conversations, expert insights, and tools to help you build a business you love. Until next time, keep going, stay kind to yourself, and I'll see you soon.